Scruffy Audio Network.
It's GIF.
It's GIF.
GIF.
It's
No,
GIF.
it's GIF.
No,
it's not GIF. It is
not.
so GIF.
GIF peanut butter, right?
But that's different. It's with a J,
Yeah, so
Audrey.
why would it be pronounced?
So then why
I
would
don't
it be pronounced the same?
I've never had anyone disagree with me on this.
I
I know it's a
disagree.
Welcome
controversial
to
topic.
Literally Headlines.
And GIFs.
Brought
No.
to you by Jif Peanut Butter.
In case you
No.
don't recognize that voice, everybody, that is Matt Stanley, the medium-sized white guy who sometimes appears on the podcast.
No, not sometimes. This is the first time.
This is my debut.
One time.
I thought
Debut.
there's the time he was on here before.
No, I think we called him once.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, Matt.
Or maybe we didn't.
You didn't.
It's been a long time.
Wow, I know.
Lots of
Been
has happened.
forever.
But yeah, so how you doing, Matt?
Good.
That's a long,
Wow.
long music.
Oh, it's like
Yeah,
a long music
really
intro,
long.
dog.
Nice long intro.
It's like Paul isn't here to know what to do.
Who's Paul?
Oh, no.
Kidding. Of course I know Paul.
But
Paul's
yeah,
my father.
Matt goes to school with me, Audrey, and Sebastian. Not
Sebastian
Abby Ann.
couldn't make it
I
tonight.
don't go to
Sebastian
school with
couldn't make it
anyone.
He's
Yeah,
celebrating his girlfriend's birthday.
Nerd.
Nerd. People with
Oh,
girlfriends.
I wish I had a girlfriend.
Am I right?
Really?
I have one.
So we didn't have school this week on Tuesday.
Why?
Why,
I was-
Audrey? Tell us.
Because maybe it's voting day.
Ooh.
Voting day.
Connor, Matt, can you vote?
No.
No.
I voted though because I can.
Connor, how
vote.
was that?
It was really good.
Yeah?
I had to wait in a line.
Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I had to wait in a line, and it was very. I don't know. It was very interesting to go and vote. The machines they use are very outdated. Not gonna lie, they're not very user friendly. But anyways, I mean, it was nice to like do my civic duty. I got one of those I voted stickers.
That's
Political
fun.
efficacy.
What? What did you say,
Political
Audrey?
efficacy.
Efficacy. There you go.
You know what? I got a 5 on the AP Gov test, so
You
I
know
don't
what?
care.
I don't
did
believe
I,
you
so
because you
sit
can't say
down.
efficacy.
I can say efficacy.
I have news. I got a 33 on my ACT.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Wow.
It increased
Congratulations.
by 1 point from my last score. So I'm
Nice.
not gonna say that I'm the best ever.
That's a
but-
big jump.
But
from a
also,
32
I'm
to
really
a 33.
smart.
I know. Also, I'm just like.
But also,
But yeah.
Shower
So,
me with compliments.
so Abby Ann,
how you doing?
do you have a
Abby Ann?
story to tell?
Oh, I do have a story
You
to
have a
tell.
news story? Like a
news
headline?
story? Yeah, I guess you could call it like
Like
I guess it's
literally
just
a headline?
literally a headline.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So this
That's
is
cringy.
yeah. This is from NPR and the headline is French Spiderman arrested after scaling London skyscraper without
What?
ropes. So this man
What?
he calls himself the French Spider-Man.
Okay.
And he illegally scaled one of London's tallest buildings on Thursday. Or this was a couple weeks ago.
What's
on
the
Thursday.
legal way of scaling a London building?
With ropes.
Oh, okay.
So he just didn't have his ropes. No, I'd
When
say you'd
did
have to
spiders
have
get scales?
Dog.
like, oh man. It's a good one.
Wow. Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane. I can't
Yeah.
believe he did that.
So it was 46 stories.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they had to
Wow,
like
that's
rope
pretty
off
high up.
the building and close roads.
Because he
And-
was climbing the building?
No, just because he was like standing outside eating a sandwich. That's why they had to close all the roads and
There
usher
was-
people away.
But
There's
wait,
no
why
need
would-
for you to be hostile right now.
Did he survive?
Yeah, he's good. He's
Man, they
56
shouldn't
years
arrest
old.
him. They should
He's
pay him.
56 years old?
Yeah,
He's
and
56?
That's like
He's
Paul
climbed-
scaling a tower.
Oh.
I don't think he could do that.
He's climbed like a bunch of tall buildings, including the Empire State Building, the Eiffel Tower, and the Eiffel Tower. Sorry, that there was an odd comma
Eiffel
there.
Tower and the Eiffel Tower.
There's no need.
Did he get
for
in
you to be
trouble?
hateful.
Did he get in trouble?
Um,
Isn't that a little bit like illegal?
yeah, I
maybe?
mean, it.
You think so?
It is illegal.
Trespassing.
You know, Audrey kind of reminds me of a female Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. One time,
It's because I'm hairy.
I disagree.
Oh my gosh.
like when I didn't know Audrey that well. Okay, I've known Audrey for a long time. I'll say that, but we weren't really friends for a while because she told me she read the Harry Potter books backwards.
That's a lie.
She did. And
What?
So
Abby and I tell the story that we met and she said that I was reading like a Harry Potter book and then I said I was reading them backwards, but it's a lie because that never
no,
happened.
no, okay,
I didn't
this
read
is
them
what happened. Let me
backwards.
tell the
This
story.
is fake news.
I have a good memory. We were in
So
third
do I.
grade, and Paul was our choir director. And
He was, that's
we were
true.
sitting in a hallway waiting to go on stage for choir, and you were holding Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. So I'd just assumed that you had read the rest of the books. And so I was like, oh, what's your favorite Harry Potter book? Because me, a little nerd third grader, had already read all of them like twice. And
Nerd.
you were like, oh, I don't know, this is the first one I've read. And I was like, but
You know
it's
what?
the seventh
I
one.
know that the story
then-
is a lie.
And then
I'll
you
tell you
said,
why.
and then you said, yeah, my mom's making me read them backwards.
No.
So then I didn't talk to you for like.
Do you know what? Do you want to
3
know why this is a
years.
lie?
Why?
Because I didn't know how to read for a really long time.
Okay, so here's
When I moved here, I couldn't read. Everyone could read chapter books, and I couldn't. I was still on picture books.
So when you said she was reading it backwards, I legitimately thought you meant back to front.
no, that's what I thought too when I asked her, and she clarified like one book at a time, but just 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I didn't do that.
Okay, but there is a kernel of truth to the story then, because if you couldn't read, then maybe you were just carrying the book around.
Probably.
To look like you could.
Oh my
couldn't read.
gosh.
This is
So,
getting sad.
All right, we finally exposed the truth of the story.
It also would prove that she's read through all 7 books.
I
So
actually
she's at
have
least
read the
on her
books.
7th book.
I read
Yeah,
the books.
I know that. 'cause
I got
then
all the way to 5.
I read them in 5th grade. and I
5 is
read
the
all
best
of
one.
them.
Did you not get
No,
through
5
5?
was terrible.
I stopped
Five-
halfway. I
five
stopped
was really
halfway through
long.
5.
I stopped like a quarter of the way into 5 because they just kept talking.
Yeah, it was.
I liked
it was
it,
really
but it was
dialogue
long.
heavy.
I love 5.
I'm not even
What's
talking
your
about
favorite?
the dialogue. It's just a
Half-Blood
lot
Prince?
of words. What?
Half-Blood. Sorry.
Prisoner of
that not
Azkaban.
sick?
You said that
Wait.
with so much anger. What's your favorite Half-Blood Prince?
Yeah, because I hate the Half-Blood Prince.
Do you know what? Like Goblet of Fire made me so uncomfortable when I was reading it.
Yeah.
It made me uncomfortable.
Really?
Goblet of Fire is
I
when they like
liked it a
go through
lot.
puberty. Kind
Did
of.
I tell my Goblet of
Goblet
Fire
of
story
Fire
last
was
week?
oh my god.
No.
No,
I told that to someone else then.
we'll tell it.
Okay. Well, when I was little, I used to like have to go with my brothers to all these soccer tournaments all the time, and so I would watch Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire on like their PS4.
Oh my gosh!
Like over and over again. And then one time I just got really scared of the mermaids, and then I got really sick, and so I didn't watch the Goblet of Fire for like another 5 years.
and to this day,
Yeah.
And to this day, I cannot watch the Goblet
someone
of
pull up a
Fire.
picture of a mermaid. Hurry, hurry!
It's just fish creatures, not fish creatures. Fish and creatures in the ocean, I guess. So
You know what,
so
Abian?
fish.
You know what,
Fish and
Abian?
creatures.
You know what, Abian? How old are you?
I'm 16.
Have you ever wanted to change your age? Have you ever identified as a different age?
What do you?
I have not.
I
I'm
did.
transitioning.
You know what time? Oh my gosh, pulling up a picture of a mermaid from the Goblet of Fire. These are scary.
She's
Oh my
scared. She's like
goodness.
trembling.
They actually are scary.
Yeah, they actually are.
They look like they have like
Why
ramen
are we
noodle
watching?
heads. It's a commercial.
So talk about
Nothing
age
to hear
change.
here. Yeah.
Okay. Age change. So, a man in Dutch, a man in the Netherlands, he wanted to, he's 69 years old and he
Wait.
a man, stop, we need to stop ignoring.
Nice.
It's so confusing sometimes. Okay. Abian, back off.
Moving on. The man in Dutch.
A man
Sorry.
that
Go
lives
ahead.
in the Netherlands,
Mhm.
he wants to change his age from 69 to 49 because he thinks he identifies more as a 49-year-old. And he believes he's being
Oh.
discriminated against because of his age.
69 is like the perfect age to be, though.
He
Just
says
like-
that he says that his
Nice.
Tinder
Good
on
one,
Tinder
Connor.
he has to put that he's 69. He doesn't want to do that,
Oh my god.
but he doesn't want to
doesn't?
lie, so he wants to change his age.
Why
And
would he
he's
pick
like
49?
He's like
That's
people
so
can change their
specific.
gender and everything. Why can't I change my age?
Because it doesn't.
Everyone's like, oh, it's not the same
Hey
thing.
guys, well, you know,
I'm
I
a
mean, I think we should take
35-year-old.
into consideration the social issues of what this guy is feeling. And I mean, he makes a valid point.
You can't
mean, we
change your age though.
Well, some would argue you can't change your gender.
Age is just
So
a number, bro.
I'm like, I'm 12 now.
I'm 12 now. I mean, isn't
Man,
that
I
like a
wish.
sexual thing though? It's like age play?
The court's supposed to decide
God.
in like 4 weeks
Oh, I forgot
whether
y'all are
he can
16.
change his age or not.
Wow. I'd let him.
So they actually have to like go to court and decide if they can.
Well, he wants to
That's-
legally change his age.
Do you think he's going to join the LGBT plus community?
I don't know.
It's not the same thing.
No.
I
Your
mean,
age
he's
is different.
Changing something about his birth, but it's not
It's
the
weird.
same.
It's weird to argue.
Keep
It
digging
feels
a
like
hole,
it's
dog.
not- yeah. You feel like it's not, but sometimes it feels like it is. But this whole article, this is from ABC News. It talks about how people are like changing their race and everything,
Yeah.
and how people are changing like everything about themselves nowadays.
Wow.
Oof.
Which I don't know.
If you can't legally change your age, Do you do it illegally? I'm confused.
Lie.
You just tell.
Just lie.
Wait, but do you
get
just lie on Tinder?
Because, like, I mean, you have people lie about their age all the time, and they don't really.
Yeah.
I think I lied about my age to get on like Webkins or something.
Oh yeah.
I was on Tinder when I was 16. I lied about my age on there.
Ouch.
Why?
Why? Listen. 16 was a rough year, y'all.
I was a rough time.
It was a rough time.
I
remember-
don't understand what I went through.
My specific memory of like lying about my age that I was so guilty about was I got on the Call of Duty website. And it was the only video game I ever played, but it asked like, what's your age? And I remember like actively getting out a calculator and figuring out what year I would have been born in for 18.
If
That's
I wanted
amazing.
to like change my age, I used to just put in my sister's birthday because she was 2 years older than me. And I was like,
too.
here we go.
I don't know why I said I still do that. I think I'm old enough for like,
for most
everything.
sites.
Not
But even
old enough to vote.
Yeah,
For most
Not old
sites.
enough to vote.
most apps. Yeah, except
Not Tinder.
Except Tinder.
I'm not really a Tinder type.
I don't know, Abby Ann.
Really, Abby Ann?
I see you on
I
Tinder
can see
the
you
next
scrolling
day.
back and forth.
Yeah,
That
for
sounds
sure.
like you.
Definitely.
That's hilarious. So, speaking of Tinder, do y'all want to hear a story about a New York man?
Wow, that was a really
He's
good
been
transition.
so
Thank you.
excited about this story.
I'm
Yeah,
so
and
excited.
I don't
But all
understand.
he said is New York man.
Yo, because I can't give any details away. So it's this story is so amazing. All right, sorry, I didn't mean. I keep hyping it up. I feel like it's gonna be anticlimactic.
Yeah, I feel like
now.
it's gonna be like, there's a man in New York, and that's it.
Yes, but so there's a New York man, and he was arrested about 2 months ago because he would change the timer for stoplight cameras that take pictures of your cars, because he changed the timer to 5 seconds. And the reason he did this was because he noticed that yellow lights at stoplights that don't have cameras last 5 seconds, but at yellow lights with stoplight cameras, they only last 3 seconds. So he thought it was a little corrupt, and he also noticed that they were only placed in middle to low income housing areas, the stoplight cameras. And I know that's very true, at least here in Tennessee. I've noticed that a lot too. And anyways, so he was arrested for it, and like everyone thought he was like a hero for it, even the sheriff's department. And it was like the political officials were like pressuring the sheriff's department to arrest him in New York, because they were like, well, this guy's breaking the law, you know. And so they arrested him, but the sheriff offered to pay the guy's bail, and he did, because the sheriff thought what he was doing was like a public service. And so the guy gets out on bail from the sheriff, and he goes home, and he starts getting followed by an unmarked car, a car without a license plate. And this was confirmed by the neighbors. By the neighbors that they kept seeing this unmarked car around his house, and in front of his house, he was almost hit head on in a head-on collision by that unmarked car, and had tinted windows, and it was completely black. And so it was like a big government conspiracy, and everyone's thinking like, oh my gosh, this is like awful. And so they start taking it to this news station, the local news station, to cover this story. And they're like, this is insane, guys, like cover this. And they wouldn't cover it. Nobody would cover it. Everyone was silent about it. So they started making Facebook posts, blog posts, and it was really cool. Like everyone started trying to like get somebody to cover this, and someone delved deep into the news company, and the cable sourcing company that owns the news company also owns the cameras.
No.
Yes. And so this guy who's just trying to do is like a public service and help people not like get tickets in low income housing and stuff like that. And it's also causing a lot of deaths because people are running, yellow lights that are 2 seconds sooner, than everybody else's at yellow lights. And so it's he was just trying to do like a good service, and he unearthed this like government conspiracy about it, and it's like insane. And so we have yet to see if he's dead or not.
All of us just like sitting here silently
Yeah,
listening.
that's never happened. I don't think we've ever fully listened to a story.
silent.
It's insane.
This really does beg the question of who is closer to Spider-Man, New York Man or Audrey?
Dog, what?
What does that mean?
Wait,
Sometimes I
wait.
feel like when Matt, like the wheels in his head are like turning, and he's like, "Oh, this makes sense," and then he'll say it, and it's like, "What?"
I feel like that wheel is turned by a hamster running.
Like he's just constantly thinking.
I know,
like,
yeah. But yeah, it's an insane story. And when I heard it and I was reading up about it, I was like, this just doesn't sound real. And so I like checked sources and like it's real. Like it's a real story.
Where did you get this from?
This begs the question: was the moon landing real or fake?
Oh my gosh.
It did not beg that question.
Yes,
no
it
one
did.
begged you to ask that question.
I needed to ask it.
I originally saw this story. All right, stick with me, guys. I originally saw this story on Reddit, which
Oh my god!
no. But I investigated.
Okay.
NPR did a story on it too.
Okay.
And then,
Reddit.
Yeah, and then
Can we
NPR.
fact check this?
Yeah, can we
I'm
fact
going
check
Working
it?
on it? Okay.
Go
Get
for it.
him.
And then on the website that I found it on, they said they had what's it called? Then there was like a blog post about it, like 2 months ago when he first got arrested, of like people in his neighborhood trying to get other people to like. But yeah, pretty cool.
To what?
There's a blog post about the guy from like his like neighbors made a blog post about it to like get more media attention to it. Like back when he got arrested the first time, like 2 or 3 months ago. So yeah,
On Reddit?
it's insane. No. This was just a blog post. Like it was like a blog website. So yeah,
I'm not
blog?
finding an NPR story.
I'm not finding an NPR
I'll
story.
pull it up. I'll pull it up. I think it's in one of my tabs.
I'm Abby Ann. Abby Ann, have you watched The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, that new Netflix show?
No,
I thought you said you were gonna watch
It's not
it.
that scary. It's
No, we
actually
talked about
really
Haunting
good.
last week.
Haunting's really good too.
Everyone is
But
telling me that
Sabrina's
it's not very
actually-
scary, but like
It's not that scary. It's actually really good. It's kind of violent, but like Loki. I mean, Heike, it's really good.
I was hoping
You would like
that
it
Paul
though.
would be here.
It has
so
a lot
I
of
could,
like feminism kind of stuff in it, so
Okay.
you would like it.
I was hoping Paul would be here so I could argue with him about Marvelous Mrs. Maisel because we
He
didn't
doesn't
get
like
to
it.
it last week. I don't understand why he doesn't like it because it's perfectly written and yeah. Everyone should watch it.
Do we want to jump into another story, or is
Yes.
Connor still trying to find a source?
He's trying to. He's gonna be embarrassed when he finds out.
When he finds out he just
got
found
it
it
from
on
like
Reddit.
Fox.
No, I'm serious. Like it's actually like a news story. The Daily Mail.
It was actually a news
I'm
story.
serious.
Daily
Daily
No,
Mail.
that's
No.
like the worst.
No. Listen, Daily
I
Mail.
read it on The Onion.
Daily Mail did a story on it, and then New York Times did a story on
I
it.
did see
Okay,
the
well
New
that's
York Times.
slightly
Yeah.
more
Okay,
legitimate.
I believe New York Times.
And then
I believe the
some
New York
other New
Times.
York Post did one. And then yeah.
I don't believe them as much.
Yeah, New York Post.
New York Post can be hit or miss.
Yeah, New York.
I guess
Times,
they
though.
never miss, huh?
I did
You
a-
got a boyfriend. I bet he doesn't kiss ya.
You can shut up.
Okay.
So, elections,
Midterms.
the midterms.
Oh yeah, they just happened. I voted
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, they did just
You did
happen.
just vote in
It's on
that.
Tuesday.
That was 2 days ago.
So did
By
you
my
forget?
watch.
I forgot.
I took my watch off.
Dog, why would you do that?
I just felt like it.
Because that's related to midterms.
Anyways.
That's related to the midterms. So I took
So-
my watch off.
What's the update on the midterms, Abian?
Well, I
Nothing. They happened.
They did happen.
We can discuss. So the House, when the Democrats have the majority in the House, and
No.
the Republicans have the
Still
majority
have
in
the
the Senate.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
won. I remember seeing, and this was from MSNBC, so just keep in mind that's where I heard it from.
Liberals.
Libtards.
Liberals.
But yeah,
Creep in our media.
it was and the process of the Democrats trying to take the House. They lost a few seats in the Senate, which made them lose. They didn't have had control of the Senate actually, but it made them their chances a lot worse. What? Anyways, but so it's good though because they were talking about how they actually wanted the House and that was their main goal because they can start investigations. So the House of Representatives they're the side of the.
These are Americans, Connor.
I know. Well, I mean, people don't know this. People don't know who controls like what branches of Congress control what. Like they just don't. I'm sorry.
Well, are you just trying to talk about checks and balances?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, because they want to subpoena the president, essentially. Because no one's been talking to the president except Republicans.
Yeah.
Like, the Democrats have been basically silent. And because they don't have a majority. So now the House can finally subpoena the president and give power to the Russia investigation.
Well, also they can start investigations. Like they have
Exactly.
the power.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can look into... They can investigate the investigators, as Trump said.
Which, speaking of which, yesterday, Jeff Sessions
R.I.P.
Or, I guess he
he
technically
die?
resigned, but he was
forced to
asked to
He
resign.
was asked to resign.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff.
So, a lot going on
My
in politics
favorite elf.
very quickly.
But the midterms, there's also some really like monumental stuff that
Yeah,
happened.
there
There was
really
a lot of like
was.
women that were
Yeah.
elected, and
was-
some women,
yeah.
like, people of color that were elected to some states that hadn't
in
happened before.
Kansas, the first lesbian Native American was elected to the House.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
which
In
is
Colorado,
cool.
the first openly gay man was elected governor.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And Colorado's where they had the big Baker issue. Do you remember that?
Right.
Yeah, they were getting too baked off of weed. Can
Oh my god!
we not say that?
I mean, I guess you can. It's legal there.
Legal
Tennessee,
there.
Audrey. From Tennessee.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth.
You say weed.
Oh, I
a
was talking
good
about
Republican state.
I was talking about the weeds in the ground.
Oh,
Yes.
but of course.
The weeds in the grounds and the pots.
Yes. And
Some say pot.
it's actually
Blackburn won for Tennessee,
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
So we
Of
can,
course.
we can
which
adjust
I
that.
I was not surprised. I knew she would win because
Connor, why don't
I
you
knew
explain to
Tennessee's
us?
head.
Tennessee's a Republican state.
Do you want me to?
She
Yeah, I
won.
want you to explain why Marsha Blackburn is why people are addicted to heroin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Did you say this earlier?
what?
This is our dinner conversation.
This is our dinner conversation.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
we're
talk
talking
about
about this.
opium.
Marsha Blackburn, she proposed and she also passed a law. Well, it's more of a bill, but anyway, so that was a joke.
Wait,
But-
is it a lie?
But anyway, so she, but it made it so that the DEA needs needs like class F warrants. What are you rolling your eyes for? You're making me nervous.
Just can you say like more?
So,
Keep going.
that they need class F warrants to be able to investigate pharmaceutical companies that oh my gosh, I can't stop doing it
Wait,
now that you played
wait,
Marsha's
do you watch-
bad, okay?
Do you watch
Marsha's
How I Met
bad.
Your Mother?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Yes,
Sorry.
I
I
do.
used to.
You know when they mess with Robin
I
because
was
she says,
cool.
but,
Yes.
and every,
Yes, and everything.
yes.
I remember that. But
That show is so
But,
good.
yeah.
Very
All right,
good.
sorry, continue. Explain to us.
Basically, Marsha Blackburn has stocks in some pharmaceutical companies, and now she made it illegal for them to be investigated by the DEA.
Yeah.
So now, and it's led to a big opioid crisis in America.
Marsha
and
Blackburn is
specifically Tennessee.
bad.
she's bad news. She's bad.
But I mean,
news.
Tennessee's a Republican
But-
state,
and
so
she's
they're
a
gonna
woman.
vote Republican no matter
It
what.
was
Also,
a lot
Right.
closer
ignoring the
race.
fact-
It was
Yeah.
a lot
It was-
closer race than
Yeah.
every other race has been. Actually.
Because if you do look at, like, Phil Bredesen, he's, like, extremely moderate. He would
Yeah.
be, like, the only Democratic candidate unless, like, Tim Burchett decided he was going to run as a Democrat that
Tim
would get
Burchett.
elected in
Yeah.
I like
Tennessee.
Tim Burchett.
That even has a chance. So,
Sasquatch. Does anyone know about that?
No.
Tim Burchett's obsessed with Sasquatch, with Bigfoot, and he's like an
Stop.
avid Bigfoot. Look it up. No, because
No,
there
wait,
are
did I
stickers
tell you-
in Knoxville, Tennessee, that say Burchett,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
have like a Sasquatch on them. This is not a joke. It's not
Did
a
I
joke.
tell you that not my ROTC teacher, but my advisory teacher, who is also the ROTC teacher at our school, is a ghost hunter. He literally has
Unsurprised.
a ghost hunter like group, and they have a website,
Labella?
and they you can't
Wait.
expose.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So yes, he is a ghost hunter, and I was very shocked by it.
I'm
I
sorry
thought it
for
was
saying
funny.
It's quite alright.
Okay.
we're past it now.
I'm really self-conscious
We're,
about it now.
we're past
welcome.
it. No. It's okay, I do that with like. Someone will notice how many times I say like, and then suddenly I just stop talking.
You see, Abby Ann, I would never call you out for something like that because I'm a good person and a good podcast.
Hey, I didn't call you
co-host.
out for saying that
I
was
really
Audrey.
appreciate. I really appreciate.
We have
it.
to
Thank
do
you.
oral presentations in my English class, and my teacher was said she
Oh yeah,
she
Miss
said
Reese.
that if
she
you say
cuts off.
if you say like or a bunch, I'm just gonna start counting them
Yeah.
and tell you.
She did that to me last year, and I got.
That ain't it, Chief.
I had a huge presentation the other day, and I didn't say like a single time. I was so proud of myself.
Wow, what was it
Yeah.
on?
Weapons of mass destruction and public perception.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
No, we don't need to talk about that right now.
Yeah, it's
Too
a little
heavy.
heavy.
Too heavy for a Thursday night?
Oh,
Nothing.
but yeah, Mayor Burchett to proclaim Bigfoot Day in Knox County.
Wait, legitimately?
This was in 2012.
Well, is that a thing?
I don't know.
Did he declare
Let's
it?
see if he did. I didn't.
So
I
we have
haven't
another
heard.
story though that's kind of sad because there's always been like every single week we're talking about another shooting. This one's kind of
Yeah.
different though. It seems more
It's more.
like stuff to do with like mental health in this one.
Yeah, it's.
There was a shooting in
sorry.
California
Go ahead.
at a music club, like a club. A guy came in with I think it was a .45 caliber, and he shot we just started firing. 12 people died, I think.
Yeah, 12 are injured and 12 people are
12
dead.
people died. And it was really bad. So the guy that fired the weapon, he was like in the military actually. I think recently he had been having trouble with like PTSD, and people have been coming to talk to him, but he wasn't deemed like bad enough to have to go into care.
Yeah. It's
but they also don't really know why he did what he did.
Is he still alive? Like, is he in
No,
custody?
he died.
He was among the 12 that died. Yeah. I hate having to we're at that point now to where it's like, well, this shooting was worse than the other one, or this shooting, it's like it's just become so normal that we're like, it just becomes so normal that we're like,
subjected to this.
Yeah, that we're subjected to.
I mean,
this.
it's become so. It really is just normal. It's like, I mean, it's hard to find the same amount of compassion every time it happens because
Right.
all of us growing up has been shooting this week, shooting that week. And it seems like this is inevitable, but it's crazy to me that like there are really countries where this doesn't happen. Like this is the only country where we regularly have people die, and it's just become like casual news.
Yeah.
And one thing I forget who I was talking to today about this, but I was talking about how the media, and this isn't necessarily an original thought, but the media has always put like the picture of the killer up, and it's like, oh, this is their name, and there's this like screwed up sense of glory behind that.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. I think the media has a large part to do with the amount of like shootings that we have, because I mean, people with mental problems that they think that this is the way they're gonna be famous.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's
not even
kind of true sometimes.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
It's not even like being famous
kind of
too. It's like a way to deal with it. It's become just like a normal way to deal with things.
But they don't know what happened with this guy. I think they probably think it was something to do with his PTSD and his mental health. And I think that's another problem in our country, that we have not much to do with like mental health.
Right. I mean, you hear
There's
a lot
not much that can be helpful.
that like people say guns don't kill people, people kill people, which I mean, there is like a person behind the gun, but also if you're giving these guns to people with mental health issues, then they don't have control. They really, like, if they're not seeking help, then they don't have control over what their mind is thinking, especially when they're in that state and then they're given a weapon.
And I didn't know that he was deemed like he's okay. He doesn't need to be helped.
Yeah, they said he was okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
obviously
it's
not.
kind of like it's interesting though, because
that was an article from New York Times that said that he was deemed fine.
But there's an interesting distinction between, honestly, in my opinion, between who needs to have guns and who shouldn't, because I'm kind of the opinion lately that not that we should be giving people guns, but not only should we be taking guns, or not necessarily taking guns, but preventing the purchasing of, first of all assault rifles to citizens, but we should be making sure that like there are good people out there who are, armed.
Yeah.
And while there's validity to say that the more guns there are, the more damage will be done, because it's just hard to control them. Like, you hear about so many people who've accidentally fired weapons and gotten injuries because of it. But there needs to be a sort... It's hard to imagine. Like, there's not a scenario where we get rid of guns.
Right.
So we need to
our
be
nation
like...
was founded
exactly.
on the freedom to have weapons.
And that's the silly misconception perpetuated by the NRA that gun control means no guns.
Right.
Because that's just inaccurate. Gun control means stopping people who are domestic abusers from getting guns, stopping people with mental illness from getting guns.
But there's also
so much more.
On the opposite side of that, there's also a lot of people who are also uneducated that a lot of these mental illnesses these people with mental illnesses are being denied guns also.
Yeah,
right.
So there are a lot of checks in the system of getting guns, but a big problem, at least right now, is that it's the people don't really care about the laws of not free selling a gun to somebody else, because there's no regulation, there's no government, there's no store regulation right there. It's just, I know a guy who has a gun, he can sell it to me.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is all these people are like, we need more gun control, we need all this gun control, we need to get rid of guns. But if someone wants to buy a gun, they're gonna figure out a way to buy a gun.
Yeah,
that's the fact of the matter.
They can figure out a way to buy a gun.
Yeah. And
is
people will figure
different.
out how to make a gun. We can make them with 3D printers now. Like if I have a 3D printer in my home, I can make a gun.
I mean, it is possible, but I feel like it's gonna be easier to like. Not many people who are gonna get a gun, their first thought's gonna be, well, gotta go to Maker Box.
3D print it.
Give me a
I'm gonna
3D
buy a
printer.
3D printer.
No, it's gonna be, I'm gonna go to the
everything.
nearest person I know with a gun and say,
Yeah.
either give me your gun or sell it to me.
Well, I definitely think though, if you try to take away guns, people with 3D printers can distribute. I mean, that's like, and 3D printers aren't as expensive as people, as like most people think they are.
Well, they're getting cheaper.
They are.
So like they're getting better and they're getting cheaper. So it's like right now with the sort of like plastic stuck things that you get, it's not as plausible. But as they can 3D print a house now.
Yeah.
So like as they're getting further progressed, there's certainly
Can 3D print a house?
yeah, it's crazy.
You
I
can
watched
3D
this
print a
video.
lot of things.
Oh man,
I mean, it's
3D
not
printers
like-
freak me out.
It's basically this like massive rig with like cement.
Yeah.
and
This kid that
blocks.
was in my band a couple of years ago, he used to 3D print his mouthpieces for his trumpet, and they like actually like didn't sound bad.
That's
so
really crazy.
Yeah.
I bet I could have in like 4th and 5th grade. You know when they make you play the recorder?
Yes.
You could just 3D print a recorder.
3D print your recorder.
Yeah.
I like how that's where you tie this all back.
That's
into,
where it
right?
went.
Hey, Abby,
you guys should
Never
just
mind.
be
Abby,
inside my mind
hey,
for like
Abby,
5 minutes.
I mean,
What?
guess what?
What?
In 5th grade, I was chosen for a special recorder group because I was
Okay,
really good at the recorder.
whatever. I failed all my recorder karate tests.
Actually,
really?
so did I. I never had a belt on my thing.
Really, I had like
Yeah,
all
I'm
of
not
them. So
even-
so good.
I'm like pretty
I was
okay
top
at
of my
reading
class.
music.
I was
as
top of my
well.
class.
I was
I blame my
valedictorian
dad
of
too
the-
because my dad, every time I'd practice at home, he'd like be telling me to shut up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
I can,
it's
like,
awful.
I can
I know.
read
It's so
music, and I
terrible.
did chorus for a long time, but
Chorus is not real art.
okay.
I'm kidding.
I'm
know what?
sorry.
Instruments have I just can't do it, I guess. I don't
Anybody
know.
that goes to a school with an IB program,
What?
you'll understand this. IB Math Studies is not a real math.
Nope, it's a joke. It's
Environmental
calculator
science, IB Environmental Science is not a real science.
Neither is
Whoa.
AP
I disagree.
Environmental
I stand
Science.
by that. I
disagree.
stand
I'm in
by
that
it.
class.
I stand by that.
I'm in
Dude,
AP
do you-
Environmental
I
Science,
want
and
you
it's
to-
also not a real class.
I want you to
it's not a real class either.
I want you to realize that
Global warming isn't real.
Oh no, not
Someone
today.
said that.
it's really no the environmental systems and societies class.
Okay.
It's a hard class, dog.
Oh yeah.
My environmental science class.
It's like a very
It can
like,
be.
intricate.
No,
it
and
can
isn't
be.
What animal
who's
is
the
this?
teacher?
Well, we don't talk
that's
about
not
that
like
at
Year
all.
one. That's year one's like
That's
that.
not even
That's
not even year one. We talk about water pollution. We go
yeah,
fix water
we're
pollution.
currently talking about coal mining.
We talk a little
It's
bit
bad.
about that.
I can.
but coal mining is
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah, coal mining is awful for the environment.
Well, I think it's so silly that
But-
we're still like having people dying in mines.
I
when
know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that happened.
People are like
recently,
protect
didn't
these
it?
jobs, and I'm like, no, find them better jobs.
Yeah, like
find them
they're
sustainable
dying,
jobs.
and then all the pollution is like making other people die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's all cons, no pros.
yeah,
Because they could be making more money
I
in a
had to-
sustainable industry.
yeah. Today I had to find we had to split up in groups, and half the people had to find. This class is ridiculous. It's a joke. The teacher has us like watch videos and then make quizzes about the videos, and then she uses the quizzes as real quizzes, which is what we did today.
That's a
But
little weird.
One girl had to find a video about the positives of coal mining, and it was literally just like a 2-minute documentary about this guy who was a coal miner, and he was like, I gotta protect my daughter. And then, and then at the end, it was
What?
just like, make coal great again.
Make coal great again.
Yeah, and
Wow.
so that's my
insane.
story of the day. I don't even know how we got to
Clean coal, baby.
We got here by shootings. Actually, that's how we
coal.
got
Oh
here.
man, we get so
Off track.
sidetracked.
That's all right.
So, you have a story about a train?
Yes, not on the topic of
Not on the
shootings,
topic of
I guess. It's a
but-
it's a little heavy for us to talk about right now.
The train?
No, the shooting.
Oh.
Just like too in depth. I mean, it just happened yesterday. Oh gosh. All right. So a runaway train in Western Australia, a runaway train went for 50 miles by itself.
Was anybody on it?
No,
Wow.
luckily. But
Was it coal powered?
no, it was loaded with iron ore.
Oh.
So yeah, it ended up like derailing on like the desert in the outback.
In
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I
In the
cannot do an
outback.
Australian accent.
That was like
Yeah,
that was like
steakhouse.
totally a country accent.
Yeah, every accent I ever do
I thought
turns
you
to
like
country.
I thought you love
I
Australia.
do love
though.
Australia.
So shouldn't you be able to do an
I
Australian
know,
accent?
don't talk about it, okay?
Look it up.
I saw the.
I-
Figure
Sorry,
it
go
out.
ahead. I just saw this Australian news thing the other day. that said that it's talking about how tourists are more likely to get punched by a guy named Dane than they are to get killed or bit by a spider.
I saw that.
Yeah.
A guy named Dane.
Just a guy named Dane. They're more likely to get punched by him than killed by a spider.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Australia lately. Like last week was
Oh,
the
with the
cat pajama.
party.
My
Yeah.
other story that I said was just like, that's
yeah.
about Australia. So
yeah.
Australia is just really
I have a
getting in the
story
weird
about
news lately.
Germany.
Okay, that's fun.
Would you like to hear it, Evian?
Why just me?
Because I just like to talk to you,
Matt,
Evian.
take your headphones off.
I got this one from ABC News, and this is going to be another version of like a criminal mastermind sort of deal. So there are these two guys that stole 100 porta potties.
Okay.
What?
They stole 100 porta potties.
Just
About $80,000 worth of porta potties.
They really
Whoa.
needed to poop.
Well, they
Whoa,
actually,
wait.
I think they worked for the company, and they were mad about something, so they started stealing them.
So they stole exactly 100.
Yeah.
Let's just like
Oh, well, it says more than 100.
more than one. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I was like,
More
wait,
than 100
how many-
portable toilets.
They
how
have
much does a porta potty cost?
a lot.
I
Can't
didn't
you just get,
realize
I
like,
that.
reckon.
Can't you just like buy a toilet?
No. Yeah, why can't you just poop in the woods?
I know, that's
Honestly.
what I'm saying. That's what I always said. And
I
when was
mean,
at
the
camp
world
counseling-
is my porta potty. Is what people
Yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah, but also they haven't found any of the toilets. They found like 2 of them.
Oh my god.
Did
What
they
about
find
their
the people who-
families?
Wait, did they,
They
what
know
if they
people that did
spread
it.
the porta potties like across the country? So
This was the plan.
They found one in Kansas and like one in New York, and they're still searching for
Well,
the
it's
other
in
98.
Germany.
Oh, I forgot this.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be even worse if
All
it was
right.
in New York from Germany.
Also, the people lost their jobs, if you're curious.
Oh, did they find them? Didn't
Yeah, they
got
know who
arrested?
did it. They got
didn't
arrested. 'Cause they used to work for they worked for the company.
Wow.
So what were they
That's-
planning to do
Sell them?
with the porta potties?
Go to the bathroom?
Just sell them? I don't know what they're planning to do. It doesn't say.
Big poop.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah,
It's odd flex.
yeah, it is odd flex.
I know.
hate
I
when
like
people
weird
say-
flex better. Though.
I say
I
weird
know, I like
flex.
odd
I'll be
flex.
real.
I say weird flex.
It might be wrong, but I say
Hot
it.
take. I say weird flex.
I say,
Always too
I just
hot
think that
for the early headlines.
I don't even know which one was original. I just think odd,
Odd
flex, but okay.
Sounds
It's
better.
so much
Actually, at
better.
first I didn't understand what that means. Like someone said that to me, but I didn't understand it. I said thanks. I don't even remember what it was about, but it's something stupid that I was like talking about. And they were like, weird flex, but okay.
I remember last year in math class, I was talking to, we were in like doing like some group thing or something like that, and I said something to you, like just like a comment. Oh, that's what it is. I said, "Yeah, yeet," and you just looked at me with this like weirdest look.
No.
And it was and it was the first time I've ever heard you speak. And I just hear from Audrey, "Why'd you say that?"
My voice was that low.
It was so bad. It was not bad. It was so funny.
Why did you say that?
Why would you say that? It's like I'm
I
so
don't
taken
remember
aback.
this.
Do you not?
No.
Oh man, that's like one of my shining moments of you.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Beautiful memory.
My first memory of Audrey is her saying that she read the Harry Potter books backwards, and yours is her like not knowing what ya yeet meant.
It's so funny. What's your first memory of Audrey, Matt?
I have no
was
idea. I have
dance
genuinely
theater?
Sometime in theater, yeah.
Sometime in theater.
Probably the first day of theater.
Yeah.
Did y'all kiss?
No, we didn't do that.
No.
That was him and Ruth.
That was me and 2 other people.
Yeah,
No,
he
3?
kissed other people.
Was it? It was 3.
Just to clarify, in the play that we did last year, there was a lot of kissing.
There was
Yeah.
some smooches.
There was a
There
lot. For
was
some people, it was a lot.
Some smooches.
I
Yeah, I
thought it
saw
was
that
fun.
show.
3 different people.
You saw that show?
Yeah, it was a
What'd
good
you think?
show.
Wow.
It was a
Okay.
really
I
good
kissed 2
show.
people.
How was I?
I don't remember.
I went to every showing, Abby Ann. Maybe we saw each other. Wow.
Probably.
Yeah,
I
yeet.
sat with Terry and Paul.
Wow, we probably
My parents. You saw my parents.
you saw it
I
with
did.
her parents.
Yeah.
Do you know, some
Yeah.
people used to make fun of me in middle school because I guess when I'm like walking in the hallways in the morning, my voice is extra low. They'd be like, hey, Audrey. I'd be, hello.
No, really, that's what she did.
Hello.
Like, if you were in a bad mood and it's like the first time you're talking all day, like I'd walk into our 8th grade math class, which was like the worst class in the world. I'd just sit out and be like, hey, Audrey. And she'd be like,
Also, I
don't
think-
talk to me today.
I think I'm the reason that Abby Ann did bad in that math class because I used
You
to
definitely are.
pass her
okay,
notes
I got
and
an A.
drawings.
You always say that I did bad, but I got an A in the class. I just hated it.
That's awful.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
pass her notes and stuff.
She would just draw pictures and then like get 100 on all the quizzes, and I would like.
That's me in math
She would
studies.
take notes.
That
That's
is
me
so
in-
math studies.
That's me in math right now, though. I
You're
fall
in math
asleep.
studies?
Nah.
No, what are you in? SL?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
nerd.
well, I'm in
Nerd.
bridge
IB.
math, so the lowest math class you can take.
I do not.
So easy.
I
Smartest
currently
kid in bridge math.
do not have
This
a
man-
math
Oh, yeah.
class.
You're not in the math class, right?
Let's keep in mind, this man got a 33 on the ACT.
That's me.
And
And
is
he's
in
in
the
bridge math.
lowest math class
What's
he
your
could
math
take.
score?
I don't know. I think it was a 26.
Okay,
Yeah,
gives me hope.
that's pretty awful.
So I have another
Still better than
story.
mine.
Okay, Audrey.
This is also from ABC
Oh my
News.
gosh.
So a man broke into a guy in Florida, so Florida man. He broke into a crocodile like park, and he jumped into one of the like ponds with the crocodiles in it,
Okay.
and then he got his leg bitten. And the
Okay.
cops found him just like on the ground, like crawling with his leg like bloody. He like had stolen a bunch of snacks from the food court, the food stand,
Imagine.
and
Go ahead.
he like caused like $5,000 worth of damage.
Imagine
That's
if you
He
like,
also, when he went to the hospital, he tried to escape.
Oh no.
He tried to escape.
Just
so.
like broken leg and all.
He is an idiot.
I mean, Florida man. I think
Florida man needs to stop.
I
So
think
this
my
story-
New York man was better than the Florida man.
Well, your New York one might have been a little more interesting. This one's a little more for our audience, I think. I guess we have our Florida man story this week, and this one
I
involves
think this
crocodiles.
one's funny.
I also think.
I
it's
think
funny.
it's
Because what do
really
you expect
funny.
if you're gonna jump into a crocodile park?
Well, what happened?
First of all,
That-
there's a crocodile part.
My favorite part is
That
that,
story-
he like tried to escape. He tried to like jump
Yeah.
out the hospital window, like
that story that Sebastian had last week about the guy jumping into a shark tank with no clothes
with
on.
no clothes on. Like that
Yeah.
ain't it, Chief. Spoke to the chief.
Just got off the phone with Chief.
That
That
ain't
ain't
it.
This ain't it, dog.
Hee hee.
Oh my
That
gosh!
is-
Stop sounding like Abby Ann.
Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I sound like.
it is.
I just can't believe that.
Abby, do you have another story for us? You have
Yeah,
one last story.
I do actually. This one's actually really cute. But a gay penguin couple hatches egg, welcomes first baby.
Wait, what?
Yeah, in Australia.
This is from Parks and
The-
Rec.
Okay, the headline is
also in
actually
Australia?
very misleading. This is from CBS News. The headline's a little misleading though. They did not like have it's
a
not their
child.
egg.
It's not their
Apparently they
Stole
their
it?
names are Sven and Magic, and
That is
they
like
were
the
already
gayest
like
name.
they were already a couple before this.
Were they predestined to be gay with those names?
I don't know. I don't even
Sven. I love it though.
Sven and
Honestly,
Magic.
love
That's
it.
a character's name in
apparently-
Skyrim.
Really
It's
magic.
Sven. No, Sven.
Magic.
Apparently, the aquarium staff gave them like a dummy egg to protect and take care of for a little while just to see how they'd do.
And it was a real egg.
No, what? And then they did really well and apparently acted just like normal penguin parents, I guess.
Aw.
And then they had another penguin couple hatch an egg and then gave it to the Sven and Magic.
I'm just wondering what was going through their minds. They were like, I think they're going to treat this child differently. Like,
So there's actually a book about two gay penguins that have a baby together, and it's called "And Tango Makes Three."
what?
And it's actually banned. It's one of the top 10 banned, like most banned books in the world.
No way.
Why though? Is it
Yeah.
because it's gay?
And my
That's it.
my teacher was like, "It's a children's book about penguins."
You have Miss Reese, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, I probably can't say her name, but yeah.
you already
can't-
did.
Oh, he's already said it twice.
I think you've said it twice.
Yeah. She's hilarious. She's one of my favorite teachers.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
There's also
2005
the-
I always wanted
children's
to have
Parks and
her.
Rec episode.
There is the Parks
Yeah,
and Rec
he's
episode.
looking at "And Tango Makes Three."
And Tango makes 3.
That's-
No, but also,
hilarious.
can we just notice that he searched on Google "gay penguin book"?
Gay penguin book.
Oh no!
I said the title of it.
Yeah, and I looked up the title of
Illustrated
it
by
here.
Henry Cole. That's
Gay penguin
beautiful.
book.
Beautiful.
Gay penguin book.
I think I also looked that up when I was trying to find it.
up. You're not wrong. It did come up. I wonder how many other
got a
people
5 out of
searched.
5.
It's one of the most banned books, like up there with like Looking for Alaska, which
What's
some of
that?
these books you can
Why was that
understand
banned?
because it has a lot of inappropriate things in it.
Why do people
What?
ban? But like, I don't see what the point is. What? I don't
All right,
get it.
Hitler,
I don't
chill.
get it. That was the opposite of Hitler.
Fucking mad.
What do you mean that was the opposite? Hitler banned and burned
He said,
books.
Why
I
do
said
people
I don't
ban-
get it.
Oh.
We thought you were talking to him. Like, why are you banning
I wasn't talking to
Gosh,
him.
that's
On
really
Hitler.
mean. Poor Matt.
I know.
Hitler let everyone read whatever they wanted.
If there's something we know about Hitler, it was his passion for literature.
He loved all of it, especially
Yeah.
the stuff that
He wrote-
talked about other politics.
He loved them all.
Yeah.
Never
Wow.
burned a single book.
He never
Never-
burned a single one.
He loved diverse
Okay,
political
I think we're getting
views.
into
Yeah.
like
He
we're
loved it.
about to cross the line
we're stepping
into
that
inappropriate.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
getting to that step threshold.
If,
That's
Ashton-
right.
if Sebastian were here,
PG-13 threshold.
if Sebastian were here, he would actually cross the line.
Yes, he would.
We always say like, okay, we've gotten up to the line, we probably shouldn't cross it, and then
And then
he'll
Sebastian
5
will say-
minutes later he'll say something.
It's so inappropriate.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I just hate Jewish people. And it's like, Sebastian.
No.
well, it just got crossed.
Line was
Thank
just
you,
crossed
Connor.
Sebastian.
He's like, man, it was just a joke.
Someone had
Like
a,
he's like, I'm joking. It's not.
jokes
it's
can't be
funny."
offensive. Everyone knows that.
Okay, I had the
This
same
is joke.
argument today. Actually, not even an argument. I was just talking to my class. I think I was just like going on. Honestly.
Didn't even go to
But
school
there's a
today.
difference between.
An argument requires two people. This was a soliloquy. I had a soliloquy with my class.
Connor's soliloquy.
Connor's soliloquy about the difference between offensive humor and offensive comedy. So having an offensive,
Okay.
yeah, I think there's a
Time to
difference.
stop listening to this.
Takes headphones off.
Anyway,
Can still hear him.
what were you saying?
okay, wow,
Connor,
thanks,
what,
Abby. Yeah. We were on the same level of not making fun of each other.
You showed me a really scary gif of a shark.
You're
So
really, I'm sorry.
Jiff?
Take that back, woman.
woman.
Oh man, but so we were talking about it, and I was saying that there's a difference between somebody having an offensive humor and making offensive jokes, like just to somebody to be offensive, and then also, and there's a difference between that and having comedic timing with offensive jokes.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's funny, it can't be offensive.
Well, it's
To an extent.
No, yeah, no. That's
I
what
mean-
I'm. It's. I mean, when you say it like that, it's kind of like
It sounds ridiculous, but like
It
I
sounds
see your
ridiculous,
point
but
in
yeah.
that like if you don't believe it, if it's literally just a joke,
yeah,
Right.
then there's you
But
don't
then-
have to like
Exactly.
think it's
Well, there's
horrible.
like this whole thing with satire where it's really effective if people can understand it.
yeah,
But
if they
it's
don't,
super
yeah.
ineffective if they don't understand
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
like in The Office, if someone
Yeah, some people are like,
someone laughs at Michael Scott's like racist joke unironically, then you're like, oh wait.
I saw a post.
What?
I
Yeah,
saw a post.
exactly.
I saw a post, and it was like, if you like The Office, Michael Scott's the reason that people make offensive jokes because people think it's funny. I'm like, no, no one thinks
like-
it's funny. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
People
and that's
for
why you
that.
laugh.
If people are getting their main basis of humor from The Office and the offensive jokes that Michael Scott makes, that's just like.
Well, that's the wrong part of The Office to get your humor
Yeah,
from. Like,
exactly.
the
The
joke
part-
is how horrible it is. The joke is like this guy
The
is
joke
a
is that he's making
Yeah.
a terrible joke, and everyone in the room
You're laughing
is
at him,
uncomfortable.
not with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wow. I did. That's wow.
But
I,
I mean,
saw that post and was like,
even beyond that,
Liberals.
like there's an extent where
Yeah.
it's, like there's certain boundaries that you don't cross, but humor can go further than words can. You know, like
Yeah.
because if you're actually saying something with meaning behind it,
if I
Then-
say women should not be able to speak anymore.
then you'd be correct.
If someone in the room laughed, you're automatically correct about that
Exactly, yeah.
statement.
Yes.
Once
you.
one person has validated you, then it's true fact. That's like churches. Like if you have like 12 followers, then you're a real church or something
Yeah.
like that. That's
Yeah.
how jokes work.
Are y'all aware of the comedian Joey Diaz?
Of course not.
Okay, so Joey Diaz, he's this big, fat, Cuban, old comedian. He's like one of my favorite comedians ever. And he always makes jokes about like Cuban families and how like awful it is to grow up in a Cuban family back in the 60s. And so he made this joke about like children slaves, about how his friend just never showed back up to like school after he saw him get kidnapped. And so yeah, it was awful, but it was like super funny. And then like he supposedly tells like true stories, and then like a bunch of people started coming out against him, being like, "How dare you tell this joke about this?" Because they were like calling him out because it was offensive, because like a lot of kids can get kidnapped and be put into like child slave type of situations. And like he was just talking to him, and he was like, "This just is ridiculous. Like it was a joke. It was a story of my own personal life that I turned into a joke." And it's just complete satire. It's completely
Yeah.
it's just complete humor and comedy for comedic purposes. It's not like my actual humor is like, haha, a kid got abducted.
Well, and there's this idea that we've created that comedians are people to be looked up to.
Yeah.
When in reality, no, these are like
they're people
these are
really struggling.
politicians,
Yeah,
and
they're not trying to be politicians.
Yeah.
No,
either.
they're just trying to make jokes. They're just trying to make you laugh.
Yeah.
And you know, like I think that's part of comedy is you have to be crossing the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you have to be pushing
Some kind
the
of line.
envelope.
Yeah.
There is a line though.
No,
we
there-
all
there's
know
a
when it's
certain
crossed.
line
We
you
know when
don't
it's
know-
crossed.
exactly.
You know when you cross it.
You know when you cross it because people stop listening to you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that joke I make about the kid and his daughter, the guy and his daughter.
I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, we're
wait.
not going to tell it on air, but yeah,
Okay.
that's an awful joke, you know.
And now they can look it up. Look up joke guy and daughter. You'll
Yeah.
find it, I'm sure.
But it's
That's terrifying.
Now we're rated R.
I'll tell it to y'all after the podcast, but it's but like that one is like probably the most offensive joke I've ever heard, and I actually heard it here in Knoxville at a comedy night, and so like, but it's like one of the most offensive jokes I've ever heard, and it was so like shocking that it was funny because no one had any other reaction but to laugh at it, and then you felt bad afterwards. You're like, wow, that was a little messed up that I laughed at that.
But that's the thing is he's the comedian you were talking about was detached from the humor.
Yeah.
Like it was like, this is my joke, this isn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
and
like
that's interesting.
a big self-awareness component that plays into it. Sorry, Audrey's wanting us to move on from comedy when
I
we
know.
started
We've gotten-
at Gay Penguin.
We
like,
got
hatches
really,
egg.
really off topic.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Wow, really? I'm surprised.
At least we're talking.
At least we're talking.
Excuse me.
Is there another topic?
All right, so that is the end of it.
The end of it.
So
Wow, thank you for
Solid
tuning in.
and
Enjoyed
solid
the
at
podcast.
conclusion. On
Yeah,
solid
I know, thank
conclusion.
you.
In conclusion, in summary, in short, all in all,
Offensive humor is always funny. Anyways,
if someone laughs at something, then it's funny.
If you say it loud enough,
fact if it's loud.
automatically
Exactly.
funny.
If you say anything with enough confidence, it's fact. Thank you, Donald Trump, for that one.
yes.
So go follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Tweet at us.
That literally has
Send
like,
us some.
tweet at us. What
Send
would
us some.
they-
Send
oh,
us
right.
send us
If
some
you send
headlines.
Abby and
Swipe
shark
right
photos, we
at-
will call you during the podcast.
DM us
Yes.
some shark photos, and I will show them for Abby, and we will call you.
Yes, exactly.
Don't DM them because I'm also connected to both accounts, so I will get them. They won't just surprise it. Well, they might.
All right, thank you guys for listening.
Hey, thanks
See you
for
next-
coming on the podcast.
Ciao.
Oh yeah,
Thanks,
thanks Matt.
Matt.
Thanks Matt.
Sorry.
We love you.
All right, bye.
All right.